The day I took over my studio, someone walked into it. I was painting and said, I give you 1 month before you mess it up and 6 months before you cancel. I am still there a decade later. Now, this video isn't a sob story. This isn't about like, oh my God, like this is me. I just want to do a story about like how photography has been for me and how it is still taking me on a journey, as you say, as the cool kids say, but it's still giving me something that I didn't know I needed. But also I want to be very honest about how it's been going with photography. So if this is something that you may be interested in, I'd say stick around, because I think a lot of people hide behind this glamorized version of their careers and their life. And I want to be very honest how much I'm comfortable sharing. So I have technically always been the good kid at school. I did not have the best upbringing. It's well spoken about in the past. I don't need to regurgitate that. I did not grow up in a safe, in my opinion, environment, in many people's and places. But I ended up joining the military, had my career. And then years after that, I was like touring the world with the cabaret world. And you might have seen that noted too, quite a few in my stories, but also recently in the recent unboxing I did where I have my throwing knives out. I spent many years going around the photography world, like barely on the surface, in the Facebook groups, on Net Model. Do you remember that one? God, it was tragic on there, wasn't it? I don't think that's still going. And I was working with models and I was desperately trying to wait. And I just kept not quite finding my groove. I didn't quite ever fit in. And I know it's a really common thing to say, like loads of people don't quite fit in. It's really common. I think that alone needs to be spoken about more. It is incredibly common to not fit in. And I think actually fitting in straight away is the unusual part. But in my head, I was like, I wasn't part of the clique. I didn't make friends easily. One, because I didn't go to uni at first for photography. I didn't, go to college or anything like that for it. I didn't do group shoots. I found group shoots really frustrating and annoying. There was loads of dick swinging going around and, oh, I've got this camera and I do this. And even to this day, I sometimes feel that's still the same. But I was desperate trying to make friends, and I made friends with people who eventually would kind of mistreat me bad or basically be quite rude. And then I slowly discovered that they weren't the kind of people I wanted to be around. It took a while though. It didn't help the fact that my relationships and friendships were often formed on the basis that I was giving something or I was doing something, be it I was paying all the rent or I was working a full-time job and then running home to sort their life out, or, people just needed saving, and it became like a thing for me. So in photography, I kind of gravitated to people who had similar. They were trying to be saved as well, or they were trying to do something. And what happened was I felt like their trauma and their drama started to define me. I'd done the military person, I'd been the show guy, I'd been the reliable one. And as much as it pains me, I couldn't quite get into my groove of photography. I was churning out the same stuff everyone else. There was nothing remarkable about my photography. I can share some of the stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, this is years ago, okay? So don't hate me, okay? But I was really good at being what other people needed, I felt. But I wasn't good at what I wanted to do, what I felt like I needed to be. Picking up the camera was not a career plan. I honestly didn't think I was going to make a career out of this. I thought it was going to be a form of escapism. I thought I was going to just happily enjoy taking a few shots, maybe get a few likes on social media, and that was it. And then day one, I got my studio kind of on a whim. I've told that story many times. I took it over from my lovely friend James. I walked in straight away, had to repaint it. And I was there with my friend Steve. He was drilling in the ceiling to put a chandelier up. Yes, I was bougie. It was a plastic one. It was of its era, okay? And this guy walked in and he didn't shake my hand. I've told the story loads, right? He walked in, looked around, and he was just quite rude. And I felt that little flicker of like annoyance and what we'd probably say fire in my belly to like be there longer. I remember when I hit the 1 month, I was like, yeah, in your face. And then I hit the 6 month, I was like, yeah, in your face. And then a year like, in your face. And yet weirdly, I'm still dining out on that story now. You'd think after a decade I'd get over it, but it really angered me. I will just say, and I want this to be incredibly honest with you guys, my career did not take off instantaneously. Yes, I managed to get clients. Yes, I had some great success stories, but it wasn't until I would dare say, even as part around COVID time, that I really came into mind. Yes, I was doing a lot of things. Yes, I was talking a lot. Yes, I was doing seminars, but I didn't focus heavily on my YouTube. I didn't focus heavily on any sort of social media. I was doing education in it. So I was testing things out, but I didn't really think of this would be, I kind of thought, even COVID, I thought at some time in COVID, I'm going to have to go back to a regular job. Like this may never come back. And I remember thinking, just give it another year or so, see what happens after COVID. And a lot of people were really shocked when I said, like, I was thinking of seriously quitting. There was a time when, I wasn't sure if stuff was going to come back in, and I'm a real, like, pragmatic person. I was like, okay, I've got bills to pay. I don't want to be struggling. I felt like I didn't deserve to have this career. I didn't deserve to do anything. So a year in, I decided, let's just chuck everything in. Let's just go whole hog. Let's go in. The first year back, I worked really hard. And the thing is, everyone seems to think on social media, careers happen quickly. They don't. I've been in this industry so long, it's ridiculous. One thing I quickly learned though, is if I ruffle feathers, I'm doing something good. People get annoyed at people in the industry if they don't like what they're doing. But if you don't say directly to them what the problem is so they can at least learn from it if they've made a massive boo-boo, all you're doing is gossiping to make yourself feel better. I have been copied into emails, I've said this numerous times, been copied into emails where people have blind copied me in so the original person couldn't see it, where they have been slating me, and everything they've said is false or completely misleading of the information that was provided on the day or something similar, okay? Now, I started to learn that I needed to push back a bit more because I wanted to stand out. I couldn't fall in line with anyone. I've done all the falling in line in the military and now I wanted to stand out. So ruffling feathers kind of me was like, this was the brief. I had to do stuff that stood out. I had to be more. So what happened is in like post-COVID, even just down to the last 3 years, I saw a genuine uplift in what I did. I started talking more about the education side. I started being very honest. I didn't do all these fluffy talk. I was really blunt, have that saying, bullshit baffles brains. I was straight in with it. I started reaching out a bit more on my brand itself. I got rid of the logo that was grey and purple and switched over to the colours that I really like, which you might know is orange now. It didn't happen overnight at all. It was really slow. It took ages. And it's still doing now. I mean, I travel. I travel quite a lot off to Norway. Literally, by the time I'm recording this, I'll probably be in. Releases, I'll be in Norway, but I'm traveling to Norway. I go to Estonia. I go to Poland. I go. I go Paris, I go to Ibiza, I travel. And what happened was I started to create a voice or a space for myself. I didn't ask someone to do it. I now get asked from like, hey, can you come talk at this? I would get asked to go to things. Like I went to Wales and people brought my book for me to sign. It was mind blowing. I decided to create the books, which I've already mentioned. I wrote the 2 books and I know people grumbled about it. I started the podcast, The Loud Lens, and people grumbled about it. I decided to have a voice, although mine is now going because I'm talking quite a lot, a voice that felt like me in the industry. And it was incredibly hard to keep going at times because I felt like I was just swimming against the tide. Like I didn't get the accolades I saw others get. And that's my problem. I focused too heavy on everyone else's journey and forgot my own. I created for me. I didn't create for somebody else. I created for me. I wanted to be who I wish I had known when I was going through the ranks. So that's what I started to do. One of the big things I found that was really important to me was self-portraits and continually doing self-portraits. So I would do them covering my face, not because I didn't think I was attractive, but it was more about about getting my name out there as a creative rather than someone recognizable purely by my looks or how it was. And I've gone from just shoving my face in people's faces to actually creating some work that I was very proud of. And, you know, I get to travel about a bit now and I get to do so much. It doesn't matter if you haven't got this figured out at 22, 23, 40. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I feel like there is so much in this career where you think it's all youngsters in it. I hate to say this to you, but equally I'm speaking to you youngsters. It doesn't happen overnight despite what social media says. I know many people who've gone viral and their careers have slumped straight after. I know people who've gone viral and managed to stay, but they are few and far between. The decades of grafting is not wasted time. It is the foundation of what you're going to become. Yes, we all wish we could do it overnight and boom, we were there with our, 7-figure salary or whatever you want to call it. And the naysayers who talk about you, they are data, use that. What they say about you, listen to it, but it is not a verdict. It is not about who you are. All I would say, and it's very philosophical and very quick, this video, is to keep going. Create for you stuff that you are proud of, and then people do come. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you have to learn about SEO, GEO. That's why the podcast is available for you. Sometimes you have to know about doing better thumbnails to get that stuff or when to post. But that information is out there and I hope I've provided it to you. But this video is more about photography didn't save me, but it gave me somewhere to go. And sometimes that is absolutely enough to start. I don't know where my career is going to go. I know what I think I want it to become, but who knows? I was speaking to someone I was mentoring today. I said, eventually I've got a horrible feeling that maybe I'll shoot less and less and only shoot bespoke campaigns for me. And I'll just end up being a mentor and a teacher and someone who has these books and these platforms. And I would like to think I would always be photographing, always. And I hope I do. And I can see now when brands reach out to me. This morning, another brand has reached out to me. So I know I'm doing the right thing. I just want you to know that right now, wherever you're in your career, this is part of the journey. This is part of it. This is not the end. This is probably very nearly at the beginning. But everyone's trajectory is at different levels, is at different speeds, and thinking that somehow, whether you've come into this career at a later time in your life, or a second career, third career, or you're in retirement, or you're brand new out of school trying it, it's okay to keep going when it doesn't feel right, when it doesn't feel like you're doing something right. The key is, do you adapt and use what went wrong as data, or do you just keep repeating it? It is that is going to prove your downfall. If you keep repeating, it will keep failing. If you change something, if you learn, if you adapt, YouTube is full of free information. My podcast is full of free information. There is so much there for yourself. And I know this video is a bit sporadic. I'm feeling very philosophical and slightly sweaty in this room. And I'm also coming down with something which is not great. I think it's hay fever. But I just want to say, and to quote I don't know, I read this, I said this quote to my friend. She said, I think that's from 50 Shades. It seems the harder I work, the luckier people tell me I am. If that is from him, that's fine. It's the only quote I'm going to give you. I've never watched it yet. But yeah. I know social media makes it look easy. I know social media makes it look great, and suddenly everybody's like a winner and we're all doing great. It's not. It's smoke and mirrors. We're all grafting. We're all working hard. I think those who have got it good are not being honest about how their finances are to begin with. So on that count, I'm going to say it again, photography did not save me, but it certainly gave me a journey to go on, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm going to still enjoy it. So let me know how you're doing, okay? If this episode has helped, I hope so.